Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning, which is this really proud day for us. I'm so excited to be here today for the unveiling of a new real-time live map of the New York City subway system, which will allow our riders to better plan their trips, saving them time and making the subway more user-friendly and convenient than ever. I view initiatives like this as being a core part of my job. It's imperative, especially in these times, that we're thinking about the future of our system and how we can best serve our customers. Ultimately, we're in the customer service business at New York City Transit, and that mindset is something we have to keep in mind as we begin to draw riders back into the system. We have to be proactive in providing customers with additional tools that simplify the system and its many overlapping lines. The features of this beta digital map, which we call the MTA Live Subway Map, will help customers navigate the system far more seamlessly than ever before. It is absolutely unique. We know that this is a map that's the first of its kind in North America. We believe it may be the first of its kind globally. No longer will people have to decipher a range of in-station signs. You can plan your commute from the palm of your hand. I want to thank the Transit Innovation Partnership, in particular Rachel Hout, without whom this collaboration would never have been possible. I also want to thank Work & Company that put unbelievable work into this product. And of course, I want to thank Sarah Meyer, our Chief Customer Service Officer. This is her baby from the beginning. She had the vision for it when she first arrived at New York City Transit. She had the diligence and the wherewithal to see it through to the end. I cannot stress enough the beta aspect of this tool, and that's important. I've spent some of my career working in tech, and no product when it's first delivered is perfect. This is a beta product for a reason. We want your feedback. We want your thoughts and suggestions. As we continue to develop it, we urge riders to provide us with their thoughts and feedback. We look forward to that feedback because we know that it will make this tool better, it will make us better at our jobs, and it will make your commute easier. We need to continue to do this kind of work to modernize mass transit in New York City. The MTA is the key to the regional economy. Tools like this just make us better and make our riders ready to come back. Without world-class transportation, New York cannot rebound from the pandemic. We can't rebound from the pandemic, and we can't come back without the support of the federal government. We're going to do all we can to continue to think creatively and find savings, but this is a collective challenge, and we continue to need federal support. We need action from Congress now, and that means $12 billion to get us through 2021. It's time for the Congress to step up and to assist transit agencies like ours in bringing ridership back and in continuing our service to essential workers. Without funding, we could see lines on this map vanish before our eyes, and that's something that no one wants to see. I want to thank you again for being here. I want to thank our customers for coming back, for continuing to use this map to give us real-time feedback. I want to thank Work & Company and the Transit Innovation Partnership and Sarah Meyer for this gift to New York City. And it's my pleasure to introduce Sarah Meyer, Chief Customer Service Officer for New York City Transit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm Sarah Meyer, Chief Customer Officer for New York City Transit. My team has spent the last 18 months working alongside Work & Company as they develop this incredible resource, along with our friends at the Transit Innovation Partnership. I have two wonderful little girls at home, but that hasn't stopped me from calling this project my baby as well. Truly, since almost the first day I got here, and in conversations I've had with Commissioner Andrew Albert, I knew we had to wholly overhaul the way we presented service changes to our customers. So today is a particularly exciting day. I want to thank our partners at Work & Company who have spent an incredible amount of time and energy creating this map pro bono. They have simplified an incredibly complex system in a way we've never seen before. In doing so, they join a long line of trailblazers who have changed and improved the map. They've also shown how much New York benefits when world-class design and technology firms partner with critical public institutions. You hear the term public-private partnership thrown around a lot these days, to the point that sometimes it's difficult to understand what they are. But this was truly a public-private partnership in the best sense. I want to thank Rachel, my friend Rachel, for connecting me to the most amazingly talented and conscientious team at Work & Company. Transit Tech Lab's work continues to help the MTA tap into new sources of talent and modernize the system for the better. Together, we've helped merge the beloved features of the Vignelli map and the Hertz map in a way that can now show planned service changes holistically and accurately. This new tool blends form and function in a beautiful and innovative way. This map will live on our website and will also replace the Weekender app, which was in bad need of an upgrade. We've all had that experience when we get on the train that Saturday morning. Sit down, read a book, take a look at your iPhone, and then look up and see through the window that we're at a different station that we might have expected to be at. When New Yorkers use this resource at map.mta.info, this won't happen anymore. We built this map for the weekend warriors, for those who work at night, making our city run, who are impacted by planned service changes at far greater levels. I'm so thrilled and thankful that a company stepped up to deliver something so meaningful to New York City. This will save people time and make their lives easier. I'd now like to introduce Rachel Hout of the Transit Innovation Partnership, without whom this wouldn't be possible.
Thank you so much, Sarah. My name is Rachel Hout, and I'm the Executive Director of the Transit Innovation Partnership. The Transit Innovation Partnership is a public-private initiative of the Partnership for New York City and the MTA, with the mission to make New York the global leader in public transit. The Partnership for New York City represents the largest employers in New York and recognizes that transit is critical to the future of our city. We were thrilled to support the creation of the live digital map. We created the Transit Innovation Partnership in response to Governor Cuomo's call for private sector expertise and innovation to support the modernization of the public transit system. And this mission couldn't be more critical than it is today. The live subway map represents the best of New York City. From Work & Co., we see the dedication, the creativity, the ingenuity, and the shared sense of purpose that our leading companies have in New York City as they contribute to the future of our economy. The map is also a reflection of enormous investments and support in the internal technology at the MTA, without which it wouldn't be possible. Things like cleaning up data feeds and supporting internal staff to make sure that they're in a position to nurture this product for years to come are critical to the foundation of modernizing transit in general. Finally, I think we'd like to acknowledge that this is just the start, and we look forward to the feedback from New Yorkers. And we know that thanks to the support of Work & Co. and the investments from the leadership of President Sarah Feinberg, Sarah Meyer, and the support from Felipe Memoria, that this product is going to evolve and grow for many years to come and serve all who use and work in the transit system. It is my great pleasure to introduce Felipe Memoria, founding partner at Work & Co., who will unveil the map. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thanks, Rachel, for the kind words. Thanks, Sarah Meyer, Sarah Feinberg. We're very happy to be here today. So I'm Felipe Memoria. I'm one of the founding partners of Work & Co. We're based in Brooklyn, so it's a great honor for us to be able to help New York City, especially during these difficult times we're living in. We have offices around the world, in South America, in Europe, but New York is our home. And again, very happy to have the chance to work on this amazing project. It's also special for us, being designers, to stand in the shoulders of giants and be able to evolve the work done by designers that we admire so much like Massimo Vignelli and Michael Hertz that with his team worked on the maps for such a long time. So it's great for us to have the opportunity to actually take the maps to the times we're living in and take a digital first approach to a problem that so many people tried to solve in the past. So I'm going to show to you how the map works, the logic, the idea behind the design of it, and then I'm going to give you guys a demo as well. So the first important thing to notice is those three words. So we've seen subway and map together before, but not live. So live is the most important thing we did. The map redraws itself depending on what's going on and the current status of the system. So everybody's familiar with the map on the right side. It's the Hertz map. It's been there for about 40 years with some changes, but it's been there for all this time. On the left, we have the diagram, and those are perhaps the two most important and different points of view that designers had about map design forever. The one on the left is used on the Weekender today. There's obvious differences that those maps have. The one on the right side from Hertz is geographical, and on the left side we have the diagram, so it's more abstract, trying to simplify the system. The other most, very important thing, and perhaps the most important difference, is the way the lines are handled in a different way. So on the Hertz map, we have the trunk lines, so the lines are merged, so we have A, C, and E, together in a single blue line. On the left side, we have independent lines per train. So to design the map, and if you're designing a live map, it's imperative to have independence for all those lines, so you can actually change the route, you can fade out some lines. So the paradigm that is used on the left side from that perspective is the correct one. But if you're designing a new map for today's time, for digital, and we all have our phones, you also expect, it's just the expectation that you're going to have geographical precision. You're going to have that blue dots there showing exactly where you are. And for that, you need the geography that is used by the Hertz paradigm. So here's what we solved, how we solved it. We realized at some point that the reason this was not possible before is because those maps were printed. Now with digital, we could actually get the best of both worlds, and a smaller canvas would allow us to actually map the geography with the geometry. So here's what we did. So this is a zoomed in view of the map. You have the map in the background, and you have the diagram sort of paradigm on top with the lines. And the exciting thing that we did, because we want to live up to the medium and to the hardware, the powerful devices we have, we were able to manage to make the trains move. So hopefully you're seeing it. It's pretty cool. They move and they're precise and very exciting. So if you think about zooming out, so how do you solve it then? So what happens is that when you zoom out, the lines get together again and they start becoming more organic to match nature. So it becomes more like the Hertz map when you zoom out, and it transitions to become more like the Vignelli diagram when you zoom in, but with geography. So it's really exciting. So that's the idea, and getting there was faster than building it. Building it was a big challenge, a big effort from us, from our team. So I'm going to give you a demo of the live product today. So here it is. It's important to note that it's a web product, so you don't need to download anything, and it can be incorporated in other products later. It's very accessible. So you type in your browser, and you instantly get the map. So in this case, we're showing the zoomed out view of the map. As you expect, the vast majority of the real estate of the screen is dedicated to the map itself. You have that blue dot there of where you are. And I'm going to show what happens when you zoom in. So it works just like any other map product. You can pinch in to zoom. As you zoom, you start showing more details. It's one of the things you can do with digital maps that is very exciting. So we put a lot of thought into simplifying it and only showing information when it was really necessary. So parks, streets, station names, and so forth. And we wanted to potentially include information here that was not even available in the Hertz map, that is the one that is more dense. So we added station entrances and exits. Wouldn't that be cool? So I'm going to show you how it works. So because we have those lines that are reasonably thick, sometimes they kind of cover the map. So what we did here was this trick that if you continue to pinch, eventually the lines get transparent and reveals the information that is below. So just showing the station's entrances and exits there. So going back here, I'm going to show sort of I think it's the most important characteristic of the map, which is the power of redrawing itself. So you have this biggest button in the bottom that says now. So if you tap in that button, you get the status of the system for tonight and for the weekend. And that illustrates well the power of the tool. Obviously, other things on the map are clickable. The stations are clickable. And you have not only the moving trains, but the times where the trains are coming in. So coming back here, so not only that shows that the live is mapped, right, but the map redraws itself. So let's hit on that button there. It's going to show the status of the system tonight. So the map becomes black. In this case, it didn't change that much in that view we're here. But if you tap on it for the weekend, you're going to see that the changes are a little more dramatic. So just to make it more clear, I'm going to make it bigger for you. So this is the desktop view. So hopefully now you're going to see the difference, right? So we're here. This is the current status of the system, everything working well. You have on the left the buttons. You can click on tonight. There's going to be some changes there on the green lines. But on the weekend, the changes are more dramatic. So here it really shows what the map is all about. So you can see that the E line is now running through the F track in the middle. And you can also see that some other lines are not working. They're not available on the weekend. So what we are seeing here actually happens in real time all day long, pretty much. So it's it's just a good representation of the power of the solution. So everything that used to be, written in other places and until today printed on the stations as paragraphs, they are represented visually in the map. So it's more accessible and it's easier to understand overall. So coming back here, the other thing that we thought was really exciting and a big opportunity was to make sure we could prioritize lines for commuters. And I think we all have the lines that we take the most. So we created this keyboard of lines. You can filter the map for the line that you care the most about. So in this case, we're filtering for the Q line. And then the entire map, the other lines fade out. You're focusing on that line. The stations become bigger. The trains that are in those stations become bigger. And it's really lovely that you can actually see the tunnels connecting those stations to other stations so you can do free transfers. If there are any bigger issues happening here, you can always scroll down and actually have the information that would be written also there. So it's visual, but also written. And then coming back to the full map. The only thing that we were excited about adding as well is actually this icon for with the wheelchair, this accessibility icon. So what it does is that it prioritizes the stations with ramps and elevators. So it's really exciting. The map still, is still the same, but the stations that are not accessible, they get deprioritized. And together with that, you can open the station page and get more information about actually the status of the elevators and the escalators in the station. So also very useful. So there's this module there right on top of the page. You can click, read it, what's going on, and you can close and come back to the map. So zooming back to the entire system, and that's pretty much it. Those are the main features. Again, very important, it's a responsive solution on the web, so it works on the desktop, on the tablet, on the phone, and is available now. I hope you like it. Add to your home screen, I think it's the optimal experience. If you add to your home screen, it behaves just like an app, and I hope it becomes an important tool for all of us on a daily basis. Thank you very much for having me. Thanks for the opportunity to work with the MTA, and we're here if you have any questions.
Your questions, folks? Questions? On topic, please, for now. Any questions?
Dan,
Third-party apps?
is this?
Will third-party
Okay.
Will third-party apps have this map as well?
Oh, good question. Sarah?
You got it.
Hi guys, so first priority is to integrate it into the My MTA apps, and then we'll explore partnerships with third parties.
When you see the trains... Oh,
So when you see the trains moving along like little snails, is that in real time? I mean, if you're running to get your train, have you missed it? Or is that exact time?
So we don't want you to run, but if you click on the countdown clock section of the map, that's probably the best, most accurate way to tell what time the train is arriving.
Just one more question. So it wasn't very clear when there's a service change. What will you see on your line? Will it say service change, or will there be a different color on there? Or can you tell us what we'll see visually if there's a service change on your line?
Sure. So on the home screen, you'll see the actual line. When you see A, there'll be an exclamation point to alert you that there's something going on. But also when the line will physically change, right? We'll move to a different place. So the hope is that you look at your home station on the weekends or at night, make sure that the line is running through that station if that's what you're looking for, or consider taking a different train which might be running through that station instead. Felipe, is there anything you wanted to add? Okay.
Anybody else?
I think one of the most amazing things about this system is even though we have a lot of planned service changes, our operations planning and subway teams work really hard to ensure that service is still maintained. But sometimes it's just with a different type of service. And that's what's so incredible about this map, is that we can now show that and show the really hard work of our teams, making sure that we're getting New Yorkers where they need to go.
Sarah, I wanted to ask about the NYU study saying almost a quarter. Regarding the NYU report that 24% of New York City transit workers had self-reported positive COVID cases, that number is a lot higher than the MTA's official count. How do you explain the discrepancy, and how did the MTA do its count, and why is it so much lower than what NYU found?
Right. So it's unclear to me why the numbers are so different at this point. We're obviously very anxious to get the data that NYU is using. You know, we obviously, as we were, determining who was sick, who had tested positive at New York City Transit, we're depending on, calls into our hotline, calls into staying out sick at work, calls into your manager. NYU, I won't speak for them, seems to have taken a different approach with the poll that they did. They basically took a smaller group of employees, sent a survey, whoever responded, and they ended up with a different number than we did. So what I'm really anxious to do is to get their data so that I understand, so I can compare it to our data and make sure I understand where the overlap is there overlap? I would be surprised if the numbers are truly as different as they seem, but it's certainly possible that we had a very large number of people who were completely asymptomatic and then later took antibody tests and then self-reported themselves to the NYU, and then didn't self-report themselves to MTA, but I have a hard time believing that the numbers are really that far apart.
And just for the official way the MTA counted a positive case, what does one positive case on a transit worker, how is that determined?
If you self-reported yourself to our hotline, or you self-reported yourself to your manager, or if a member of your family reported, called for you, if a colleague reported for you, and then we followed up with you. So our entire point was to make sure that we were capturing as much data as possible. If we wanted to make sure that we weren't missing anyone who was symptomatic, who had tested positive, who was asymptomatic and had tested positive, folks who were on quarantine and hadn't been tested yet. So we were covering the waterfront. So there were lots of different ways that we would get reports of positives, and we followed up on every single one.
Okay, so a separate topic.
Sure.
We had a crew following the MTA officials handing out the pink mask for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Yep. How was the response? How was the mask force today? So
I'll answer that, and then I also want Sarah Meyer to come up because she has two babies at home, and then she has the MAP baby, and then she has Mask Force baby. So Sarah Meyer is the inspiration for Mask Force too. So as we've done several times now, we have a ton of employees elected officials, members of the public. I believe we may have some board members out there this week actively passing out masks to anyone in the system who doesn't have a mask or who has a mask and just needs an extra. And so we've done this many times now. I'd say this is, I don't want to jinx us or make a prediction, but this seems to be our most successful mask force ever. There were many stations this morning, my understanding, and on trains, my understanding, that everyone had a mask, and so we were really just handing out extra masks. So there was no one we found that was missing a mask, but of course we'll always give an extra one. I just handed out masks in Bowling Green, and on my way here, had some folks take an extra, but generally hugely successful. I want Sarah Meyer to comment too.
Hi guys, I just wanted to thank so much the MTA employees, volunteers, community board members. I'm headed to 125th Street right after this with Councilman Ben Kalos and a couple of his staffers to hand out masks. So really just thrilled that we are coming together as a community to remind everyone of the importance of wearing masks, and also to think about and remember all of our colleagues, friends who are suffering currently with breast cancer, and thinking of them and wishing them well.